Today we are going to be meal prepping some simple lunches. It's been a bit since I've done a lunch video, and maybe you're a parent getting ready to start the busy school season, but we also have the holidays coming up, and it's easy to either skip a meal or you end up through the drive-thru. These 3 recipes all turned out fantastic. I think you're going to love them. I'm so glad you're here. If we haven't met, my name is Ange, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. So we are making our chicken salad with apples, which actually this recipe has a lot more ingredients than just the chicken and the apples. But we're gonna start with our dressing, make that first. I have a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. I love doing this combination just to kind of keep the calories down, but I also love that the yogurt adds a bit more protein. We are doing a 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I didn't want this to be super heavy on that taste, but I want that little bit of sharpness. I'm going to do agave for this dressing instead of honey. We're going to do maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. Agave is a lot sweeter than honey, maybe just a little bit more. So not too much. And then we have some lemon juice. We're going to do probably half of this. We want about a tablespoon, preferably without all of those seeds that just went in there. All right, let me fish these out of here. I still have not gotten myself a little lemon squeezer. And then we're going to do a tablespoon of fresh parsley and a pinch of salt and pepper. Then we can always add more if we need it. So the way that I'm going to serve this is we are going to pile some of this chicken salad into some whole wheat tortillas and make a wrap. But this is one of those recipes that you can just keep in the refrigerator, eat it plain, eat it with crackers, put it in between 2 slices of bread. Like, you know, chicken salad is very versatile. Okay, I have a few more ingredients to prep, so let's head over to my cutting board. The only thing that we need to do is I'm gonna chop up my pecans just a little bit more, and then we need to cut up our apple. But I wanted to make sure that pretty much all the other ingredients were ready to go. That way our apple doesn't brown quickly. And if you don't like pecans, you know, you could do some walnuts. I don't really care for walnuts, or some almonds or something like that. Or sunflower seeds would be really good too. But I thought pecans would be yummy and kind of perfect for the fall season that we are heading into. And then we will dice up our apple. And this one is just I think it's called a Pink Lady maybe, or Pink Crisp or something like that. But you can use any kind of like crunchy, sweet apple. Okay, first up, star of the show, we got our chicken. I have 2 cups of cubed chicken, and I just put this in the slow cooker and cooked it that way. Next, we're gonna add in our apples. We have a 1/2 cup of diced celery. I'm gonna add some shredded carrot to this chicken salad. I've never done this before. So this is like 1 medium carrot, and I shredded it, obviously. And then we're doing some golden raisins. I have about a 1/4 cup. And for our chopped pecans, a 1/4 cup. Okay, and then all of this awesome dressing. You know what would be good in this is if you added some crispy bacon. Maybe not in the salad, but in the wrap. That would be yummy. This is going to be good. I can already tell, like all the textures. I'm definitely a texture girl, if you can't tell. Yum. Okay, let me give this a taste. I want to make sure I don't need any more salt or pepper. Okay. I'm going to do a teensy more salt. Maybe like another 1/4 teaspoon. And you know what? Because I want to, do some more pepper. This is ready to go. Like I said, throw this in a bowl and keep it in the refrigerator for a few days to snack on and make lunches with. But we're going to put this in a wrap. And I think I'm going to add a little smear of mayo down on my wrap first. And then I'll put down some of the salad. And then maybe even a little lettuce for extra crunch. It is taste test time. Look at that. So beautiful. I love anything wrapped in a tortilla. But for my chips, because I gotta have some crunch with all the other crunchy things in there. My favorite chips right now are the Siete Serrano sea salt and vinegar. These are delicious and they're not too spicy. And I appreciate that the vinegar flavor in them is mild. It's not sharp like salt and vinegar chips typically are. They're so good. Okay, but it's about the wrap and the chicken salad. This is going to be filling. There's a lot of goodies in here. All right, here we go. This has tons of texture, like I said, but it's different because you have the tender apples and then the pecans. It is delicious, a delicious chicken salad recipe. I'm excited to just have this on the side with some crackers. I love doing that, taking chicken salad with crackers for lunch. It's an easy thing, and especially when I'm in between clients and I don't have time to like sit down and really enjoy my food, being able to just kind of scoop up some of the chicken salad with the cracker and then I'm mixing color. It's just great. Hey, we're gonna try it with some chips. Fantastic chicken salad. Perfect for meal prep, but just make it because it's so good and you're gonna love it if you like all of these ingredients. As we know it, pasta salad is a great thing to have on hand for meal prep. It just holds up well in the refrigerator. And I'm going to be using just regular cheese tortellini. You can use any kind that you like. But as you can see, very simple ingredients. So let's head over to the stove. We got to get our tortellini cooked up and then we'll start kind of pulling together the dressing. So we're going to cook the tortellini according to the package directions, about 5 to 7 minutes. And then we're going to drain it, and I'm going to do a little light rinse on it because I don't want them to be too sticky with the starch. So we'll go ahead and add these in safely. I don't splatter myself. This is a 10-ounce package. You're going to want about 2 cups cooked. So we'll get these guys boiling, and then I'll set my timer for about 5 minutes. So meanwhile, over here, we are going to put together our dressing. I have a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I'm also going to add in 3 tablespoons of plain full-fat Greek yogurt. I have a 1.5 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And we're going to add in, excuse me, about 1.5 teaspoons of honey. And then for our seasonings, I have a 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and pepper, and then we have 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds. And that is it, very simple. I love adding poppy seeds to dressings. It's kind of a fun little crunch. Doesn't really add any kind of flavor, but gives it some fun texture. All right, that looks good. So let's check on our tortellini. Okay, so I drained my tortellini. It went about 6 minutes, and then I rinsed it with cool water. So it is still a little bit warm, but that's fine. And then we're gonna add in a 1.5 cups of broccoli florets. Now you can add chicken to this if you want to add a bit more protein, but we're just going to keep it like this. We have a 1/3 cup of sliced red onion. I'm doing a 1/4 cup of sliced toasted almonds. And I believe these are unsalted. And then we have a 1/3 cup of dried cranberries. And then I'm going to throw in about a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. Now I was going to do feta cheese, but I bought a chunk of it and opened it up, and it was just a little bit too funky for me. You know how sometimes feta cheese, it can either be just salty and creamy, or it's got a little too much funk to it, for my taste anyway. So Parmesan it is. Anyway, I was just telling you that because you can do feta or any other kind of cheese you want to do. And then all of our dressing goes in. And all we have to do is toss and taste. I'm going to get them into my mason jars, and then we will come back here and taste it together. Well, I already ate pretty much half of my salad that I dished up and videoed with you, and realized that I forgot my mic and I didn't want to do a voiceover. So all that I was saying was, number one, it was delicious. It has a lot of great textures with the toasted almonds, and then you've got the little bit of cranberry chew in there, and then the crispy broccoli and the tender pasta, like the perfect marriage of textures. And the flavor is so good. That dressing is just perfection over everything. And you know, pasta salads, they get better and better each day. And this is going to be fantastic to have for the next 3 days. That's the other thing with meal prep lunches. I find sometimes when people do meal prep, like they'll meal prep the same thing like 5 days in a row. I don't want to eat the same thing 5 days in a row. So this is perfect because it just makes about 3 servings unless you're just doing a small portion. And it's healthy. Like I said, you can add some chicken to it if you wanted to do a little extra. It's really good. We are going to be meal prepping our Thai chicken rice bowls. I have about a pound of chicken breasts that I'm cutting up into cubes, just kind of small bite-sized cubes. And then we're going to get them in a really simple kind of marinade, but we don't really have to marinate it. And then we have to head over to the stove to get our brown rice going. This is a recipe that uses quite a few ingredients, but it's very simple. And I think it'll come together fairly quickly. I'm going to be using some basmati brown rice, which only needs to cook about 20 minutes or so. So that'll be nice. So to cook our basmati brown rice, I'm going to add 2 cups of cold water to my pot here. You want to make sure you have a nice tight fitted lid. And then we have 1 cup of brown basmati rice that I've rinsed really well with cold water. I'm going to add a little sprinkling of salt and then give it a little stir. We're going to turn it on to high and get this boiling. Once it's boiling, I'm going to pop the lid on and turn it down to low, and we'll simmer it for, like I said, about 20 to 25 minutes. And while that happens, we're going to get our chicken mixed with our sauce and start getting it cooked on the stove. So we'll add all of our cubed chicken to our bowl. What's great about this recipe is we will be able to heat this up and have it hot, or we can just enjoy it cold. So 2 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce went in. We're adding 3 teaspoons of sweet chili sauce. And sweet chili sauce is a lot like sriracha, but it's not quite as spicy. I have 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar. We're going to add in 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. Let's squeeze in half of this lime. And then we're going to add in about 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. The only thing left is I am going to add a little bit of salt, not too much, and a touch of black pepper. Rice is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and pop on the lid, and then we'll turn this down to low and just let it cook away. Back over to our chicken, and I'm going to get my pan heated up real quick. I want to make sure that it's good and hot before we put in the chicken. I've really been into Thai flavors the last, I would say, probably year and a half. I love going out for Thai food. It's kind of fun to make something at home with those flavors. All right, that looks good. We are going to add a teaspoon of olive oil here, and then we'll add in our chicken. I'm going to hike the heat up a little bit, and we're going to get our chicken browned and cooked up. This will probably take about 7 minutes or so. While that happens, I'm going to finish preparing my veggies. I've got some carrots, red peppers, a little bit of garlic. I already had some pre-cut up broccoli, but then we also need to make our peanut dressing. Our chicken is browned. We are going to get this out of the skillet and start getting our veggies in here. Now we're going to do 2 teaspoons more of olive oil. I have 4 cups of broccoli florets. I sliced up 1 red bell pepper, and then I did 2 medium carrots shredded. Got to add in all that garlic we just did. I did 2 cloves. Again, a little bit of salt and a little pepper. I love how colorful this is. This makes me happy. So we're going to get our veggies sauteed. I don't want to cook my veggies until they're completely soft. I want there to be a little bit of bite to them, a little texture. It'll probably be just enough time for us to make our peanut dressing. So first things first, we have some peanut butter. I'm doing a 1/4 cup of creamy peanut butter, and this is just the Adams Natural. I'm going to eyeball the rest of these ingredients. I've got 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. We're going to do about 1½ teaspoons of brown sugar again. I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of this lime juice, 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar. I'm going to measure this out. We're going to do 1½ teaspoons of sesame oil. And I am going to do just a teensy bit of red pepper flakes, not too much. Obviously give it a little taste to make sure that you don't need any more of, something. Oh, you know what I totally forgot? We need some sweet chili sauce. We're going to do 1 tablespoon. That would have been a bummer. Okay, I just heard my timer go off for my rice, so I'm going to go pull that off the stove real quick. And while we're here, we'll just give our veggies a good little stir. They're looking good though. I still want to maintain kind of that bright green look in my broccoli. That's what I'm going for. Okay, let me give this a little taste. I feel like I need to thin it out a little bit. I think it has great flavor, but I'm going to add like 1/8 of a cup of water. Okay, that consistency is much better. So our veggies are done. Chicken is done. pulled the rice off. Now we just need to assemble our bowls. So we are going to build our bowls in these 3 containers. I also have some little small containers to hold the dressing. And then you just pop the lid on and we'll set it right down in there. I'm going to assemble these with some rice, a little chicken, veggies, and then I'm going to top it with some roasted peanuts and a little cilantro. And then we'll pop the lids on. And then we absolutely have to taste it together. So I'll make sure to leave one of the lids off so that we can come back here and have a little taste test. I just want to encourage you, if you felt like watching this, it looks like a lot of work, it really is not. It's very easy. There are several little steps that you have to do, but if I can give you one tip that is super helpful, it's to have the veggies and things prepped before you even start cooking. Even make the dressing ahead of time. I kind of made the dressing towards the end of this video, but make it in the beginning, stash it away, start your rice. It is pretty hands-on throughout, but very easy, and I think it'll be worth it. So, with that said, that was my little disclaimer. We've got our dressing on our goodies. Okay, it smells so good. My husband was in the office and he's like, something smells good. So, and he loves anything Thai food. Also, I felt like for dividing this in between 3 different bowls for 3 different servings, it made a lot more vegetables than I needed, but that's okay because the vegetables are very simple and I will use those throughout the week to throw over salads, or you can just even heat it up for a side dish. So definitely do not go to waste. Okay, I'm on the struggle bus here. I want to get like a little bit of everything. We got to get some crunchy peanut in there. Wait, where did that go? Now we're ready to taste. I lost a chicken in my peanut sauce. Dang it. What a fun meal prep, lunch or dinner. You get flavors throughout everything because we did the marinade on the chicken and then sauteed our vegetables and then that peanut dressing. This is just delicious. It's so flavorful, but it also feels like a nice light meal to have. Very healthy, lots of protein. And that chicken, it is bomb. I am looking forward to having this for lunch tomorrow. I'm not going to eat this whole thing. I'm actually going to close it up and save the rest of it. Awesome meal prep lunch. I hope you try this one. Well, if you're looking for more lunch ideas, here's another video with great recipes. Thanks for spending time with me today. We will definitely see you next time.